What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Ralph's Real Review, where today we will be going over Saludos Amigos. If you notice, I am wearing a blanket today. That is because I am cold, so you're going to have to just deal with that. Before we get started, I do want to talk about the status of the channel a little bit. Right before I left on vacation, I actually just got back 2 days ago. We put up our Bambi review, and that was my most watched video so far. So thank you guys for that. We are up to 15 subscribers, which is 10 away from our new goal of 25 subscribers. So if you guys would please continue to share, like, talk about the videos, comment on the videos. We don't have enough comments yet. I would like to have some more discourse going on in the comments, but for now, thank you. And let's continue to help grow the channel. Please make sure you subscribe and share and like and do all the things. Saludos Amigos is actually going to be a really easy movie to review because honestly, I don't quite consider it a movie. It's about 42 minutes in length. It is essentially a highlight reel of a Disney animator trip to South America that was partially, at least, funded by the federal government. And it's more or less a propaganda film, so there's not much to say about it. You'll see very quickly that there is a trend in terms of where I think it ranks amongst its contemporaries so far. So let's just go ahead and get into it. When it comes to animation, I'm putting Saludos Amigos at sixth place, which right now is last place. Essentially, it was a mix of the fact that there was nothing too spectacular happening. So it's like, do I want to put it under Snow White or not, even though it was made 10 years later? And I decided to put it under Snow White because A, it was only 42 minutes of animation, not an hour and a half animation. And even on top of that, it wasn't 42 minutes of animation. There was a lot of filler of live action footage that came from this trip. So because of that, there wasn't enough going on in the animation department. I felt like it deserved the last place. When it comes to storytelling, I also put Saludos Amigos in last place, simply because there was no story to tell. There were animators who went down to South America, they took a trip, and then they had a series of shorts where they talked about different places that they went. No overarching narrative. So, yeah, not much in the way of storytelling here either. Gotta put it at six. When it comes to the characters category, Saludos Amigos is going to take another sixth place finish here. Again, not too much in the way of original characters. You do have Donald and Goofy, who, again, were not made for Saludos Amigos. And then we're really comparing it to Fantasia in that sense. So you have Fantasia, you have Chernabog, right, as their true, like, original. And then they have other characters, but Chernabog is the big one. And if you look at Saludos Amigos, Pedro the Plane has completely been irrelevant. So you're looking at Jose, who to me gets more of a bump into Three Caballeros, even though he was introduced in Saludos Amigos. I would say he's more known for the Three Caballeros. So because of that, I'm comparing those two, Jose versus Chernabog, and Chernabog's going to take the win there. So Jose and Saludos Amigos is going to come down here in last place. Next, we have the Disney Factor, and the Disney Factor, again, this is a government-funded project that came during a labor strike in which Disney needed to make money. And if there is anything that feels less Disney, it's that amount of corporate government interference in an artistic project. So there's not much in the way of magic here. Just having Donald and Goofy doesn't necessarily make it feel like a Disney movie. So Saludos Amigos, again, is coming in sixth. Next, we have our music category, where once again, Saludos Amigos is coming in sixth. I had it competing against Bambi directly. I wasn't too fond of the music in Bambi, if you remember that. However, it really comes down to the fact that Bambi did, I believe, win an Oscar for Best Original Score, or at least it was nominated for multiple categories. Saludos Amigos got a nomination for Best Original Song. However, both of them are utterly forgettable. I think Bambi won one. It was definitely at least nominated for more in terms of score as opposed to just song. So because of all that, I'm going to give the nod to Bambi over Saludos Amigos, leading to another sixth place finish. Next, we have box office success, where Saludos Amigos is going to come in last again at just a little bit over $13 million adjusted for inflation. That is an unofficial number. The only number I could find was from Wikipedia in terms of overall box office, and then I had to go in and put it in an inflation calculator. So if anyone could get me a more updated number, that would be great, but it did rank beneath Dumbo at about 13 million to Dumbo's 25 million. Finally, we have historical significance, and again, it's going in sixth place. It's interesting because this is the movie that maybe has the most history, but it's the least amount of history for the company. So, really, the only character that you're getting here that has relevance outside of this movie is Jose. But again, Jose gets more of a bump in the Three Caballeros, which we're going to next. This movie was a government funded project, right? The government needed South American allyship. Mickey Mouse and the Disney Company was very popular in South America. So the government sent Walt Disney and animators down there kind of on a goodwill tour to kind of gain sympathy from South America during World War II, since a lot of South American countries were going toward the Nazis. Disney was willing to do this because Disney was cut off from the European market during World War II, and they were going through their own labor disputes. So, because they had a short amount of animators, they were able to take this government funded trip and release some government backed movies. So while that history does exist and it did help keep the company afloat for a little bit, when I'm looking at the historical significance of the movie in and of itself, because you don't get any of that from the movie, that's just like background information for us to know, right? But none of that is present necessarily in the film itself. So when you're watching the movie and you're looking at the historical significance for the company, it's very minimal. And because of that, I look at the legacy of a Bambi and the legacy of a Dumbo and the legacy of Fantasia and the legacy of all these other things, and Saludos Amigos just does not compare. Coming, I think that's all sixth place finishes for Saludos Amigos, so it shouldn't surprise anybody in the tier list that I have it as completely skippable. If you're looking for reasons why, go ahead and rewatch the video. It'll help my watch time. But yeah, this movie, compared to its current peers, it has absolutely nothing for you to see. There is nothing that makes you feel like, oh, this is a movie that has some sort of relevance, even to the most diehard Disney fan. The only thing I could say is if you are a huge fan of Jose from the Three Caballeros, this is the first place you would see him. But outside of that, there's nothing for you to see in this 42-minute vacation highlight reel that was government funded. It's a skippable movie. That will do it for our review of Saludos Amigos. If you guys could continue to like, comment, subscribe, check out our TikTok where we have Ralph's Rapid Reviews, and then check out our Instagram where we have Ralph Reviews so that you can get notified every single time that I upload, whether it's here, TikTok, wherever. I put all that on Instagram. So thank you for your time, guys. Please be sure to subscribe. Be sure to share. Thanks. Bye.